Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. I'd just like to say before I start this video that this is just a light series that I'm going to be doing where I roleplay in Warcat, so let's get started. Star shifted around her two-leg home. Even though she has been in for multiple years now, she still felt something a little bit homely to this place. But she did not want to stay. Star was a kitty pet, independent and quite pretty. She was loyal to her house folk as well, especially to a new cat that would arrive shortly to her house. And some clan cats would even say that she was a message from Star Clan with her odd coat pattern and unique name. She walked around her house, looking under the couch. There was no toy of hers that she thought had fallen underneath it. She looked down at her dry kibble and snorted in disgust. She was not quite used to the disgusting food. Oh! She leaped back in surprise as she saw the kitty pet. Are you... well, hello, but... Are you new? She asked curiously. The cat looked so much like her, she almost felt a bit of pity inside of her. Her two legs were going to sell her soon, and this was going to be her replacement. She sighed and looked him up and down. He paused, backing up, and dipped his head in greeting, flicking his tail. Greetings, he meowed. His tone was deep, and a little bit of admiration seemed to spark from her. Are you new? She asked, already knowing the answer, and he seemed to nod his head. Yes, the two legs just brought me here this evening, he said. His words seemed to be silky. As the cat spoke for a second. So you're my replacement, she huffed slightly. Oh, what? Why would a two-leg just replace you? With no other reason except to just get rid of you. She looked at him in the eyes, saw large pink scar marks crossing them. You're blind? She asked curiously. Yeah. Well, that's odd. How did you get those marks? I don't know, he mumbled. It's been in there as long as I can remember. And if I did remember once, I probably got it from a fight and forgot. Probably hit my head on a rock or something. She looked at him. Your name? She asked. Ethan, he said. Ethan. The words were fresh on her tongue, not knowing any other cat really except her own. I've been here for a while, and I'm bored of it. I think the two legs is about to sell me anyway, she repeated. So I'm heading to the forest, before I get sold. The forest? The Tom seemed to be bewildered by the idea. What? He asked. Why would any two-leg just get rid of you? She sighed, knowing the answer deep inside her mind-boggling thoughts. You didn't hear me? She said. What do you mean, what? No, I did. But what? She seemed to be becoming impatient, but the Tom was nice to talk to, instead of the two legs mumbling that she could not understand. Just wondering why they would sell a cat, just for no reason, he meowed. I think they just want a new cat. One that they could take cute photos of for their clients. I think their clients are already getting sick of me. I've been here for a year now, and it seems like I've been here for moons. And moons and moons and moons. Ever since I was a kid. Well, I have been here ever since I was a kid, she said. I'm just a little confused. He reached up, fixing his bow tie. Then fixed his socks. Probable clients are probably socks that he wore almost around his legs and paws with his teeth. Probably bored of me, she snorted. I didn't know how anyone could get bored of me, though. Honestly, I think I'm quite pretty. I'm surprised the clients don't like me. Oh well, maybe we can show them that we fit well together, make a plan or something, use our brains. She saw a cat in the distance. He had the color of wood for fur and large, dappling spots. Who was that? She said. Immediately, her attention was taken away and she stared at him quizzically. Hello? She asked. The Toms backed away. He seemed to not know what to say. Ethan sat behind her, confused on what was going on, due to he can't see. But he seemed to follow her. He heard their paw steps and padded to where it smelt like. Who is that? He meowed under his breath. These are the cats that think I'm a omen from StarClan? She looked at the Tom, knowing it was a warrior immediately. She sighed. And then sighed once more, staring at the cat, her curiosity burning underneath her like she was putting it over a broad open flame. He nudged her, seeing where it was faced, and turned his gaze towards the place where Star's gaze was set upon. She got closer and dipped her head in, welcoming. No harm. I'm no harm. He stopped back and nodding, and raced away. Hey! Wait up! She saw the cat race in between the fences, going through this large hole that seemed to be engraved out, walking through many, many cats before. He stumbled after his paws, making odd noises as he did so. On the little hill thingy, he slid onto his back. Are you okay? He asked. She asked. Yeah, I'm used to it, he grumbled. He grunted as the delay fact that he had just hit the floor seemed to counter him. Yeah. He tried to make a joke out of it, but it just seemed awkward to Star's own ears. Probably to his own, too. Another cat? Her tail switched in curiosity. She was quite curious, and almost everything she did was followed by her compass, she would say. Hello, she said in a friendly voice that almost seemed to be contagious. The cat was darkish, a little bit of red, with a light violet collar that seemed to be tightly buckled around his neck. Hello, she said once more as the cat seemed to growl in surprise. He flicked his tail. I wish I could see, I mumbled. I patted helplessly after her scent. What are you doing to my friend? The Tom seemed to hiss. Nothing. I'm just talking. He fell down the hill. He's blind after all. You know that, right? The words seemed to be dull as they came out of her mouth, and she winced at it in embarrassment. Of course you know, she sighed. I was just... never mind. I'll be right back. she sighed as she saw the cat walk once more past. She sprinted after the scent. The brown cat laid on the ground with the puppy clutched in his jaws tightly, and he seemed to walk away. She watched, and then got bored of it immediately. Kitty pet life was boring, she sighed. Never mind. That cat was no good for nothing anyway. But I'm going to the forest before they sell me. I'll probably be back, she seemed to call as he walked into the two-leg house. Probably, she thought. Most likely not. Probably should say my goodbyes now, she whispered to herself. I just want to go have an adventure. That's all. I'm not doing this for the harm of anyone. I'm just doing this before I get sold. That's all. I will come back. The words seemed to echo in her mind, but the amount of times that she said it to herself, she didn't want to come back at more and more. She raced through the forest. The wind seemed to buffer her fur back, and she looked down the sunlit clearing, a gasp escaping her. This is the place. This camp, where these clan cats think I'm an omen. An omen from StarClan. How could I be? I'm a kitty pet, of course. I'm not some warrior. I'm not some leader. I'm not some medicine cat. She seemed to know what the cats were instinctively, never even meeting one before, except the brown spotted cat that had seemed to walk by multiple times. StarClan knows. The words seemed to be ironic as they snaked out of her mouth. StarClan knows nothing, she snorted once more. I'm not a warrior. StarClan is not my ancestors. I'm sure they're real, but that does not mean that I have to follow them. She yelped in annoyance as she seemed to walk through the forest once more. The trees made nice, thick roofs on the top of the snowy forest to shade its away from the sun, but she soon got cold as she encroached a large river that etched its way in between the large meadow of this territory. There was not another scent here, except dirt. It smelled like there hadn't been a cat here for moons, and she had nothing to worry about, so she kept walking. She raced through the territory, launching onto the thin ice, but it was still thick enough for her weight to put on it. Make sure I don't fall in, she whispered to herself, ignoring a cat that seemed to race by far off, and she barely noticed. This river is huge, she said, as she launched on top of a rock and then darted down. So much growth and greenery! Probably even more in Greenleaf. The words had to come to her. She sat up on the rock and smelled the odd fungi that seemed to be growing from the boulder. Holy, that's a lot of cats! The words were filled with astonishment as she stared off the water washing up on shore. Ah! The cat dove onto the water. The cat that dove into the water scared her, and she flinched back. How many cats are here? She wailed, as the cat seemed to swim across the water towards her, with thick, icy gray fur and large, deep pools of golden eyes. Made her quite awed and curious about the beautiful she-cat that was in front of her. Hello. The words seemed almost weak to her own ears. Hello, kitty pet, the she-cat mumbled, still wet and dripping with ice-cold water drops. What are you doing all the way about here? The she-cat asked, obviously not seeing Star as a threat, which made her even more annoyed. Your name? She asked. Waterclaw. Waterclaw, Waterclaw. She didn't say it multiple times, but the words seemed to be echoing in her ears. Waterclaw, Waterclaw, don't forget her name is Waterclaw. More cats surrounded her and her fur pricked up, her tail bushing out the same size as what seemed to be a tree trunk. So many cats, she thought, looking past the Waterclaw to a little kit and a huge, almost lion-looking cat. Whew. Oh. The tomcat said. Well, the water made her sounds muffled up. She saw another cat cross the stream, silk white fur, almost the color of milk, and a huge mane that seemed to follow around its neck. You should become a loner, better than being sold. Yeah, I will be being sold, though, she said. That's why I've come out of the forest. Yeah, I don't like being alone. The word loner means alone, right? Well, it should. What else would it mean? She sighed. Lion Star! The tomcat raced across the river, carrying a huge brownie-colored kit. Ugh! Willow Waterclaw said. Come, the she-cat said as she launched on top of the rock, pebbles flying back into her face, and she stumbled, laughing as they seemed to be racing off towards a huge gray path in the distance. Star, she repeated. Come.